So I want to give you the ultimate guide to apprenticeships. Now, to make sure that you're going to listen, I was an apprentice at 15 who won the apprentice, who's employed lots and lots of apprentices. So I understand everything there is to know about apprenticeships. Now, at a young age, or especially when I was 15, which is now 15 years ago, apprenticeships were seen just as construction jobs like plumbing, carpentry, so on and so forth. And they were maybe a bit of a get out for people that weren't clever enough or didn't want to go to university at the time. I think a lot has changed since then. And the profile of apprenticeships has increased substantially, and they're now promoted a lot more. Now, I will always back people that want to go on an apprenticeship because I think they are absolutely incredible. Okay, so let me tell you some of the features about going on an apprenticeship, and let me tell you some of the things that you need to understand in terms of how long it's going to take to get qualified, earnings, etc. So you know the realism in what you're stepping into. Now, the benefits of an apprenticeship are that you get to learn in the workplace. Okay, you're learning on the job. For those of you that don't want to continue to study after school when you're meant to finish and go into uni, etc., you don't want to carry on, you're learning in real life. And some of us are more practical. We don't learn in an academic environment, we learn actually doing it, which is nothing wrong with either of the two. Let's clear that up. And it doesn't make you any smarter or stupider if you can't do one or the other. So you get to learn in the workplace. You obviously get paid while you're learning, which is fantastic. You know, you're not going into lots of debt via uni. You're getting paid to learn the job, albeit at the early stages not that great in terms of wages. You get to learn a company really from the bottom, right? And people see, I don't want to be the person that goes in and makes the tea and has to do all of the crappy little jobs. Well, unfortunately, yes, you do. And that's what it is about, right? You are an apprentice. You are here to learn the ropes. You are here to learn every single dynamic and element of the business. And it starts at the bottom. How do you think the entrepreneur or the CEO worked his way up to the top? The founder of the business started doing all of the jobs he had to do to get to the jobs that he didn't want to do. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that, and you need to embrace it, and you're not too good to do that. I'm not too good to take the bins out. I'm not too good to do the washing up. I will do what's ever required within our workplace. Doesn't matter how big or how high I climb within my own business, right? So making sure that you are understanding that is very, very important. So you get to earn while you learn. Okay, you get to work in a practical environment, so you're not having to stay in academic studies full time, and you get to learn the company from the ground up, which is important. A lot of the time you get to work in smaller businesses, so you also really see how a small business operates, because a small business needs to become a big business. So if you can learn how that evolution process happens, that gives you such a fantastic and invaluable understanding of the workplace that you're just not going to get in university. It's really that simple. So they're the real main things that you get benefit-wise from doing an apprenticeship straight after school and in the workplace. But there are some things that you do have to understand, okay? So, you're only going to get out what you put in, number one, in everything. You need to go there and work your arse off to show your boss that when you qualify, you're worth giving a pay rise to, you're worth keeping on in the business, that you actually want to learn, that you're willing to take on and learn more and more and more and more and more, because that's what people want to see, okay? You have to understand that in the early days, in the first 2 years or so, you're going to get paid crap money, right? I used to get £80 a week, and I was doing 13-hour days, 14-hour days. and I was getting like 17 quid a day. It was a joke, but I was 16 years of age and I didn't really need that much money. That mixtured with my side hustles that I was doing anyway, I was fine. But for those of you that aren't hustling on the side, then ultimately just stick with it. It's probably gone up to like 110 quid a week now or something like that, I believe. But it's still money when you're young and you're still learning, and you don't need that much at that point, so it's fine. And if you've got other friends that have gone straight into retail or a supermarket and are getting paid a little bit more, or about they're getting 240 quid a week, and you're like, whoa, he's getting so much more money than me. Well, actually, they're going to be the ones that are still getting paid the same, okay, in like 2 or 3 years' time, when your wages are going to jump substantially. But you have to be patient. That's important, okay? With an apprenticeship, you have to understand that it's a guide to doing a job, or the start of a job within a business, right? And you can gain good qualifications within an apprenticeship to get you qualified in certain subjects. But if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor or something like that, then yes, you will need to go to university. You can't achieve those qualifications through an apprenticeship, right? It's quite clearly obvious. So people always say, well, should I do an apprenticeship, or should I go to uni? Well, the debate is what you want from one or the other, right? If you want a uni qualification that you can only get at uni, then it's a question that you don't ask. You go to uni. If it's, should I go to uni because my mum and dad are pushing me, or I want to go and study something because everyone else is going to uni, then you're probably better doing an apprenticeship, in my mind. So these are the things that you've got to look at, right? You've got to understand the features of an apprenticeship, and you've got to understand what's required from you as an apprentice and what you need to inject into the business. It's not, I'm cheap labour, I'm going to go in there, half-assed and not really do what I want. It is, I'm going in there, I've been given an incredible opportunity by a company to learn, grow and develop, and I am going to show them exactly who I can become. So give you my background on it, just to give you some credibility and to show you that there is an amazing journey beyond your apprenticeship. I was expelled from school at the age of 15, and I didn't have anywhere to go. I was lost, I was getting in trouble with the police, I was going down a terrible path, and ultimately I was going to end up a criminal. I was going to end up in prison. It was not good, right? But one day I decided to turn my life around, and a 25-year-old, my best friend's cousin, who was 25 at the time, gave me an opportunity to come and work with him, and I went to work for him for a year for free. Okay, when I should have been in year 11, I went to work for a year for free just to get my apprenticeship with him when I was 16. The deal was, if you take me on, then I will work for a year for free, and then you give me a place in college. And that's exactly what he did. See, that's what's required just to get an apprenticeship. Then when you have an apprenticeship, you have to work your arse off, and I did that for 2 years, and by the time I was 18, I was then a qualified plumber. I jumped from £80 a week then to £250 a week straight away, but ultimately that wasn't enough for me, and my boss couldn't offer me at the time an opportunity to continue to progress. So I said to him, look, I'm quitting the job. I've seen this private gas course online where it's £6,000. I'm taking out a loan, and I'm going to go live in Sheffield for 6 months to get qualified. And that's exactly what I did. And I took out that £6,000, went and studied on this gas course. And by the time I was 19, I was a qualified gas engineer, not just plumber, gas engineer, and I was earning £40,000 a year. I earned more than all the teachers. I earned more than most of my mates' parents, and it was very, very rewarding, And after 3 years of working very, very hard, it really did pay off. At the age of 22, I was able to start my own plumbing business, all mapping back to my apprenticeship from the early days. I was then at 25 going on to The Apprentice, the show, to gain $250,000 investment into my plumbing business. I sold 50% of that plumbing business to a billionaire. At the age of 25, I was expelled from school at 15. But my apprenticeship got me on this journey. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a platform to excel and grow and drive your career forward. I then bought that billionaire out, Lord Sugar, at the age of 27, and now the organisation almost covers the whole of the UK, and we're still growing and expanding. So it's pretty special stuff. Apprenticeships are very powerful, but you have to start with the end in mind. You have to see where you want to go in your career and understand that your apprenticeship is just the beginning. It's not the end, and you must look way beyond it, but understand that it's required and it's a necessity to be able to start that journey. This is a timeless ultimate guide to an apprenticeship, and I hope you guys have taken a lot from it.